Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Jeffrey Lazarus, and welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls. Now, you may be wondering where we are, and where we are is the City of Sunlight, City of the Gods, Anor Londo. Up there you can see an area we'll be headed to much later on, but for now, just take in that view. And also, take in the fact that the Batwing demon that brought us here, yeah, he's still hanging out. Now, most people don't realize this, but you can't actually come back, interact with that demon, and he will take you back to the fortress. We have no need for that. So, we're going to be making our way into the city. And once again, one of my favorite areas, an area that a lot of people find a lot of frustration in. But ever since a few episodes ago, I'm sure the veteran players know how I'm going to get through that frustration. And for those of you who don't, you'll see it when we get there. And I hope it'll be a nice little... I don't want to say surprise, but... let's just move on. So, first off, we have these giant sentinels. And there are these guys scattered all around the city. This one here, in particular, not aggressive as long as you leave him alone. You can see there's two of them over there guarding some chests. There's another two in that far building guarding some more chests, as well as another one outside the door over there. There we can see that place once again up on the hill. Foreboding. Any place that's higher than the City of Gods must be something special, huh? Once again, gorgeous view, but let's get some progression done here. So we have no need to go in there after those chests just yet. We have no need to get the chests in there. Instead, we're going to head down into this room, and we're going to find our first Anor Londo bonfire, as well as a bonfire with a firekeeper. And I'm going to go ahead and burn through my souls to level up, just in case things go badly here. What do I want to point in, though, is the question. I think Vitality is probably my best bet. I tend to take the health boost over anything else if necessary. And this firekeeper, let's just go ahead and talk to her.
Well, you are a rare visitor. Welcome to the lost city of Anor Londo, chosen undead. If you seek Lord Gwyn's old keep, exit here and head straight yonder. If you are the chosen one, a revelation shall visit thee. What follows thereafter depends upon you.
So we can actually use her to reinforce our Estus flask now, since we have a Firekeeper soul that I completely forgot about. But she has told us where we should be headed next. Also, this bonfire automatically kindled, since there is a Firekeeper here, so we have 10 Estus. She said leave here and go straight yonder. Quite literally, leave here and go straight. And in this room, up ahead, we're going to find an elevator. And you may think, oh, this looks like a really peaceful place. Not a lot of enemies here. It's a really pretty place. And you're not entirely wrong, but it's definitely not a peaceful place. Not by any stretch of the imagination. This is actually one of the highest traffic PvP areas, as well as just generally having some real nasty stuff like lightning gargoyles. This guy is more or less equivalent to the bell gargoyles. Fortunately, since he is lightning based, he is not very resistant to fire attacks. Also, being on these stairs makes it incredibly easy to deal with him. And there we got his halberd. Now, a few tips for dealing with that guy. Number one, you can straight up fight him on the bridge, that's fine. You can fight him on the stairs, it makes things a little easier because you have the height advantage unless he flies. Alternatively, if you're getting the crap kicked out of you, run back in here, because he will back off. So now that we are here, we notice there's a bridge, but if you look down at the end, and it's a little hard to see from here, I'm not going to walk all the way down there, there's nowhere to go there. That next building is not actually connected. So by doing a little exploration, you'll see these stairs, and we'll actually make our way around the edge of the building, down the stairs, and this is going to lead us to where we actually need to go. First things first, duck through this doorway, and we're going to go and find us a chest that's hidden back around the corner. And this chest contains Demon Titanite, which we will most likely be needing at some point in the future. So there we are, the Demon Titanite. Now, before we go any further, I do already have the bow equipped. I've got the feather arrows. Okay, let's equip the wooden arrows as well, just in case I need them. That is excellent, because I will be needing the bow very, very shortly. So we're going to head back through this doorway. Now we are out of Great Chaos Fireballs. Let's go ahead and swap back over to our regular Fireballs. And what you'll notice is it doesn't appear that there's anywhere else to go. Except up there. Yeah, this is actually the path that you have to take to get through here. There's no other way around it as far as I have ever seen. If anybody knows of a way to get past this, I would love to see it. But everybody I have ever seen, every playthrough I've ever watched, you gotta walk up this flying buttress, and you gotta not fall off of it, and not let the camera get you killed. Yeah. But once we get to the top, we'll be able to drop off onto this walkway, and we want to be a little bit careful. You don't want to get all the way against the wall because that pillar is there, so you want to leave yourself enough room to get past the pillar. And now we're going to encounter some new enemies once we make our way through this broken window. And you can see one across the way there, but we're going to have one try and ambush us here in just a moment. These are the Painting Guardians, or the Painted Guardians, however you want to say it. I've always called them the Painting Guardians. So these guys like to throw knives. They've got some decent close-range swords. And if you can get your hand on one of their... get your hands on one of their swords, they're pretty good for a dexterity-based character as long as you don't mind getting real close. Because they do have a very, very short range. So now we're going to head up this ladder. And we're going to have some more difficulties here. So let's get our bow equipped. And you'll see we've actually got 3 of these guys in the rafters. So from this starting point, what you typically want to do is aim up and a little bit to the left of them because of the way the arrows drop. That was too high. There we are. And we don't need to kill him with the arrows, we just need to get him aggressive. Because now he's going to make his way across the rafters and have to deal with us where we've got a little bit more sure footing. Because a fall from these rafters will kill you. So we're just going to stand here with our shield up until he actually gets close enough that we can cut him down. Alright, so heal one more time. Now, this is where things get a bit tricky. We can conceivably hit these guys from here, but if we watch the drop on the arrow, that is actually rather difficult. So I'll take a couple of shots at this guy, see if I can't draw him all the way across. No, there's no way. Whoop. So instead, what we're going to have to do is make our way across the rafters. Now, luckily, you do have these little corners you can work with. Also, you may notice an item on the chandelier. We will get to that momentarily. But what we're going to want to do is just make our way slowly across the rafters until we get to the center of the building, which is directly above the chandelier. Also, if you look down there, you'll see why these guys are known as the Painting Guardians. There's a painting down there. We'll get to that later. In the meantime, we just need to make our way out here to the chandelier, and before we do anything, we want to go ahead and cut the chain, because now the chandelier and the item falls down to the bottom of the church. And from here, we've got somewhat sure footing for dealing with these guys. So let's go ahead and get our bow out and just take another pot shot at this fella. Oh, and I actually knocked him off. Nice. That makes things much easier. So we've got one left. Now, we want to hit him from here. We don't want to get any closer, because then we lose any kind of advantage we have with our footing. So we're just going to stand... Whoop, he went the other... Where did he go? There he is. Thought he went the other way there for a minute. So we just want to approach the edge that he's coming from, keep our shield up, and they'll do that, usually. Sometimes they'll run to the corner, you'll have to fight them up here, but at least you have somewhat of a platform to deal with these guys on. As long as you have a shield, you should be okay. And from here, we're just going to continue making our way across these rafters. And down at the end there, you can actually see some statues. A couple of the Black Knights that we encountered earlier. And is that possibly a princess between them? We shall find out. Maybe a queen? Who knows? So, just slowly taking our time getting across the rafters. You don't want to be too slow. You want to be smooth about it. Keep moving, because stopping and going will most likely cause you to accidentally step off in some way, shape, or form. Once we get through here, we're going to make our way down. And then... I don't know that I want to risk going that way, but I think we will. We will have another Painting Guardian down here to deal with. Just taking a step back. Yeah, go ahead and use your Estus and then get gutted, you piece of crap. Alright. So now we'll head on down these stairs, and this will put us on a slightly lower level. This doesn't get us down to the floor level by any means. And I believe... I thought there was an item down here. I know there's one on the other side. I thought there was one here, too. Perhaps I was mistaken. Okay, so no need to go down those stairs, aside from getting a handful of souls from him. Now, I would like to go and get... There's the item on the other side, the treasure chest. I would like to go and get that. We will do that here in a few minutes, once I've actually made it so that I don't have to traverse those rafters again. So by heading out here, we're going to end up on that platform actually above the bridge we were on earlier. And a couple of things are going to happen here. Number one, we're going to walk up, we're going to spin this contraption, and you will see that the entire center building here is going to rotate and drop. And this is going to give us a walkway to where we actually need to be headed. What it's also going to do is spawn a second one of the gargoyles. But now that we have access to this... There's the other gargoyle. Now that we have access to this from our starting bonfire, it's not near as much of an issue to try and go and get the item that's across the way over there. Also, we can get the drop on this gargoyle from above. This one has managed to get himself stuck in the staircase. It doesn't always happen. This one has also managed to hit me through the floor. Thanks, buddy. What a dick. Eat it. Oh, God, he about killed me, actually. Alright. Back up, get our heal on. Alright, well, let's take him out with the sword, then. Get down here on the ground and fight me. Now, he does not like... Oh, jeez. He does not like leaving this platform, so much like the other one, if things start going... Oh, boy. If things start going really badly... You know, kind of like that. We can actually make our way out onto the bridge, and he usually won't come over here. Well, this time he came over here all on his own, which makes me even more worried. Just back off. Let's get some healing going, because I'm actually about dead. You can see he doesn't want to come across the bridge now. I don't know if that's just... Like, I like to think that there's a reason for that, like, his whole job is to protect just that center platform, and if somebody's, you know, running away from the platform, then it's like, okay, well, I don't need to protect that anymore, or I don't need to go after him anymore, but who knows. So now that we have this shortcut opened up, you know what, I'm not going back on the top of the church, forget it. I will tell you, the item that's over there is simply another divine blessing. It's really not worth going after. And I don't really need to go into the bottom of the church either, so I think what we will actually do... Yeah, we can make it. We're just going to keep trucking along. Now remember, since we lowered the bridge, our bonfire is right back up over there, so if we die, no big deal. But we're just going to keep trucking along through here, and we shouldn't have too many problems. Also, you see this lever contraption here? If you're coming from this building and the bridge isn't where you need it to be, then you can pull that lever, spin the bridge up to where you are, or down to where you are, depending. And here you'll notice we've got this large staircase. Over there you see some more of the Batwing demons. Over there you see some more of the Batwing demons. And at the top we'll encounter a couple of those sentinels. Except these guys are going to be aggressive. And what I'm going to recommend at this point in the game is to not even engage them. Run past, get through this gate, and then head for this back corner all the way across, get behind the pillar, and then just turn your camera so you can see him, because at some point, right there, they tend to just back off and go back to their posts. So once he has gone back to his post, we're going to have to make our way through some of those bat-winged demons. These are actually lightning demons. Now, there's a few tricks you can use here. I don't have any fireballs, so that kind of makes things a little bit more difficult. And of course, this guy's actually going to come up after me. Typically, if you notice when you hit these guys, they... Ow, that actually hurt. When you hit these guys, they actually slide. Well, if I can hit him again. Just stab him. Oh boy, now we've got two of them on us. Oh, this is not going as planned. What I was going to say is typically you'll notice when you hit these guys, they actually slide backwards a pretty good amount. And even though they have wings, and even though we, saw them flying, these ones don't actually fly. So if you knock them off of the ledge down there, that will kill them. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It does kill them. And we'll actually see that here in a moment because we're going to exploit that on the next group of these guys. There we go. Pin him in a corner and just cut him down. Now there's still one down here at the bottom, so I'm going to see if I can't rush at him. Oh, failure. Oh, there he goes. And he jumped off backwards. Alright, and now we are coming up on what many people consider to be one of the hardest parts of this game. Not because of the actual level of difficulty involved, I feel, because it's really not that difficult of an area once you know what you're doing. But because until you know what you're doing, it feels extremely cheap. Also, those demons feel extremely cheap right now, stabbing me in the back. So first thing I like to do is get them aggroed, run back up here, and then if you wait, typically you can get one of them to fall off. Well, it doesn't look like they want anything to do with that falling off. So it looks like I will have to go and deal with them the old-fashioned way. Which is fine, it's just not optimal. Oh, well, now he falls off. That's fine. It's one less of these bastards that I have to actually fight. Yeah, if you notice, they telegraph their attacks quite a bit, so you can usually get the drop on them. Now, I need to do a slight equipment change here and get my poison arrows. Now, I will show you before I actually kill these guys, why this area is considered to be so difficult. Those right there are why this area is considered to be so difficult. You have to run up that walkway to that building, up another walkway, and onto the ledge where those archers actually are at to get to the next bonfire. And it's pretty much right after them, too. They're kind of the guardians, and these are the notorious Anor Londo Archers. Now, what I'm about to do, I know a lot of people will consider it to be cheesing the game. I'll be honest, I don't care. It's the Anor Londo Archers. And once again, the game has given me the ability to do this, so I'm going to. Whoops. We're going to fire some poison arrows at these guys. We don't need to take both of them down. So just trying to get ranged in here on this one, because we only need to kill the one on the right. So we're going to pop him with... I don't know if that would actually hit or not. Let's aim a little bit higher. I don't want to burn through all of my poison arrows here if I can help it. That one definitely hit him. Okay. There. Now we have procced the poison on him, so we have a very, very long wait for him to actually die from the poison. And just so you guys get a feeling for how long it is, I think I'm going to let it run while we sit here and talk a little bit about these guys. So, these infamous Anor Londo Archers. Number one, if you're at the back of this platform, they can't actually hit you. Number two, poison arrows do wonders against these guys. Because now, as you can see, I'm standing back here safe from harm, and he's going to, albeit very slowly, die. The alternative methods for getting through these guys. Number one, you take a heavy armored character and you make your pathway up to them. And when you get to that center building, which I'll show you on our way up, since you kind of have to, when you get to that center building, you want to take the path to the right so that you can lose the aggro of the archer on the left. Then, once you get up to the one on the right, you should be able to shield through his arrows until you get close enough to him that he will start attacking you. Now, if you're heavy armored, you may be able to just keep your shield up, and he will eventually fall off from doing his attacks or trying to avoid you. Alternatively, if you've got a big, heavy-hitting weapon, you could just knock him off the edge. If you're going with a lighter character, such as this one, our other alternative would be to run up to that archer using the same method, but when we get close and force him to pull out his melee weapon, we would parry his attack and then knock him backwards off the building. Parrying his attack is actually not all that difficult. Sending him flying off the building in that manner is actually a really, really good, viable strategy. I just prefer to use the poison arrows because, yeah, it costs me a few souls, but I know for a fact that this guy's not going to blow me off the ledge when I get up there and cause me to lose 11,000 souls. The downside to this is I am standing here waiting with humanity in my counter in human form, which means it is entirely possible that someone could invade me here. And I'm actually surprised that I haven't seen an invader yet. You can also get the bows and arrows that those knights are using. And there, he has finally died from the poison. So, now what we're going to do, there's still one on the left, but we actually are not concerned with him in the slightest. We'll make our way up this ledge. Yeah. Make our way around the right side of this center building. Because this won't necessarily cause him to lose aggro, but now he's behind that pillar, he'll have a lot harder time taking a shot at us. And then we're going to make our way up here. And we'll see where the knight was actually shooting at us from, which was right out here. Pretty much this is where he's standing. And as we make our way around, we have now conquered the infamous Anor Londo Archers. Not too hard if you just use some poison arrows. make our way through the fog gate. And now we have reached an interior building in Anor Londo. And in here, we will see, on our left, we open this door. And hey! It's Solaire, as well as a bonfire. This is the second Anor Londo bonfire. This is where we're going to be starting our adventure from next time. But for now, I have been your host, Jeffrey Lazarus, and thank you for watching.